Hi, it's Roger here from What's on DisneyPlus.com. A quick news update for you guys on a load of originals being removed from Disney Plus in Europe. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. So over the years, we've seen Disney remove a number of titles from Disney Plus. Now this is due to a number of reasons. Some of it is down to licensing. They will license content for a limited amount of time, and when that license is over, therefore it gets removed. Some of it has been down to an impairment charge, where they are seen as failed assets, things like Willow, Big Shot. They were to take them off the platform and basically write them off to try and save them some money. They've saved about $2 billion by doing this so far. But also, they do remove stuff, and I think this is primarily due to a situation that's unique for here in Europe, and that is that we have a quota system which requires Disney Plus, along with other streaming services like Netflix, to have a certain amount of content that is created by Europeans, and therefore that means that Disney does have a tendency to license a lot of content, and there's only really tending to be available here that's been made in Europe. But also, what tends to happen is about every once or twice a year, Disney will go through and seem to trim out a load of shows and movies that aren't being watched. And it looks like we've had another kind of attack on the library, because there's been well over 50 different shows and films that have been removed from Disney Plus, which include Forever, Anita, Atom's Last Shot, Bad Boys, Bieber, Because We Forgot Everything, Bruiser, Dragons of Wonder Hatch. We've also lost Freaks, Full Count, Guilty by Suspicion. We've also lost House of the Owl, It's a Wonderful Binge, Likes for Sale, My Family, Papa's on Request, Ringo, Santa Evita, Small and Mighty, The Banshees of Inisherin, The Creator, Thailand Crime Stories, The Preacher's Wife, Time Switch, Tomorrow I'll Be Someone's Girlfriend, Woman in Taipei, Yakuza Lover, and Year of the Scarab. So lots of different random stuff, many of which is all over the place, kind of again falling into different categories. ESPN content, now whether or not that's been removed because not a lot of people are watching it, and maybe they'll bring it back when they, I hope, launch the ESPN hub here in Europe. I could see that being a thing with the ESPN stuff. Or they're just looking at some of this stuff going, look, people are just not watching this. So therefore, it's a lot easier for them to remove, 100 plus titles that not a lot of people are watching, rather than adding another 30, 40 titles that are made in Europe to kind of counterbalance that quota. So it kind of saves them money in two ways. Obviously, as well, the fact that these originals haven't been removed from Disney Plus in America or Latin America or Asia. It's just kind of here in Europe, which is a little bit disappointing. Again, a lot of these shows and films, most of which I would imagine a lot of people haven't watched, and that is what they're doing. They're kind of just, I would say, scraping the barrel, kind of moving away some of the shows and films that people aren't watching. Disney has said to me in the past that they do remove titles for business reasons, which is very vague, and it would allow them lots of scope to be able to move stuff. One of the disappointing things as well with Disney Plus that a lot of other streaming services do is we never get told about these removals in advance. We don't get a little warning saying that it's going to be going in a week or 2 weeks. They just go. I've had a number of messages over the last few days asking about some shows that have been removed, of which then it's kind of led on to this entire thing. I wanted to leave it a day or two, see what was going on, because this has happened in the past. We get a flood of removals, and they tend to happen over a few days. There's probably going to be some more as well coming in. Now again, a lot of these shows and films, most of people aren't probably going to watch them. They aren't going to impact a lot of people. Probably a lot of the ones I've mentioned, most people haven't watched. And I do think it's important that people do realise that that is the reason why this stuff's happening. People aren't watching them. They don't take away stuff that's being watched. There was a couple of films on here which did seem a little bit odd. The Banshees of Inisherin, The Creator, those being removed, but that could be to a different issue. For example, The Creator could be due to a deal with New Regency. Some of the 20th Century Searchlight stuff seems to be pulled off and then licensed off somewhere else, so that might be a separate thing. I think we've got lots of different things going on, lots of different theories. But I definitely think the European quota is definitely an issue to try and just, again, if you can trim off a load of, a couple hundred titles a year, that's going to mean you don't have to license, 20, 30, 40 extra titles to kind of counterbalance that. And again, if nobody's watching it, I don't think there's anything wrong with them looking on there and going let's just, the bottom 1% of things that people aren't watching, get rid of them. Again, I know some people tend to think of Disney Plus as their own personal library, that they've got all the stuff in there, that it's an archive of everything Disney releases. Unfortunately, that is not the case. I always put it down to the idea that you need to look at Disney Plus is like a portable mobile library. It goes around your streets and it has the best, and it only has the things that people are watching and things that people are interested in, new things, etc. it's not the entire museum of every single movie and show that Disney's ever had. And I think that's the way we need to look at it. Again, some of these removals are a little bit strange. The Creator is definitely one for me with like, why did that one go? But I think that falls into a different category to a lot of these international originals that have been removed. But just be aware that these things can happen. If you are watching a show and you're taking your time, you might want to jump in and get on with it, especially with these international originals. It does seem that, you know, maybe like Latin American and the Asian originals are ones that they're much more likely to trim away, especially when they look at it and go like, is anybody actually watching this stuff? Don't know, it's very, very strange, but let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think it's a good move, a bad move? I can see the business side of it. I can also see how people are annoyed with the fact of titles being removed. But again, just clearing out and doing a little bit of decluttering probably isn't necessarily a bad thing for Disney Plus to do. You know, but at the same time, you kind of think, well, why are they getting rid of this stuff? Is it just to save them money? It's not really any benefit for us as the consumer. But let me know your thoughts on this. What do you think about it? I'd love to hear that in the comments below. Go check us out over at what's on at disneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.